Another anti-union demon. Another one. Oh, Jim Cramer. We know about this one.
Jim, you said...
We are preparing to strike these companies in a way they've never seen before.
It's the UAW president, remember? The based one? The Marxist?
Oh. Jim, you said Ford does have the best offer. I think a 20.
Well, I'm going to posit something. The man you saw just now, I think, is a paper tiger.
Oh, is this the same clip that we've seen before?
He's coming in and saying, well, they've never seen anything like it. I think there's a nuclear option on the table if he's not careful. And that nuclear option is a country called Mexico.
What?
You don't hear about it much. But if you say we're intransigent and we're going to stay at 40%, there's no give, well, you know what? Monterrey, Puebla, Querétaro.
This is such a perfect example of how the threat of foreign labor is always used as a way of supplanting domestic labor. Like, people blame immigrants or whatever for taking jobs away or depressing wages. Dog, no. If your wages are too high, and if the bourgeoisie decide that your wages are too high, they will find the most like flea-bitten, downtrodden, oppressed slaves on earth, and they will have all the work be done by them. You know, quality be damned. It's like it's not their fault.
Is the capacity to have that happen? Not overnight.
Mercedes did it in 2 years.
2 years would be a long time to.
Why? They don't have that much demand. You put that out there and you say, listen, all the new, you want to know where the new ones are going to be made?
It's actually a perfect example so this is a criticism of capitalism that both like leftists and fascists have, which is its shiftlessness. Corporations are not beholden to any specific country, which means that corporations are free to do things that are objectively bad for the country they come from. And they can't be stopped to, right? So like America is stronger when we have some kind of domestic manufacturing base. I'm not saying all of it has to be done locally. That'd be ridiculous. Obviously, there is a strong like comparative benefit to having manufacturing done in some cases in Mexico or China or whatever else. We get all of our textiles from Bangladesh or whatever. But like a stronger American economy is one in which there is some local base. But corporations are allowed to go like, oh man, sorry, we were paying you guys like wages you would have gotten if we had been keeping up with inflation while our company is enjoying record profits. Oh, sorry, time for us to take everything to our Mexican factories, you know? And it's just bad for the country. And I'm not a protectionist, but like past a point, it's really obvious when the damage is being done and when the only people benefiting are like a small group of shareholders. It's just crazy how much of the world can be torn apart purely for the benefit of a few dozen shareholders. Like, that's really it. Those are the only people who benefit from it.
We're going to continue to make the old ones. But Puebla's got a 55,000 person factory for VW, and they got a good educational workforce. It's $5 an hour. No real pollution control rules. That's not to be mentioned. Have free health care. So you know what? You want to play ball? You want to keep doing this? Mexico.
Glad to see you're standing up for the American worker here, Jim. Thanks for that.
Well,
thank you.
No, I was a union member twice. One was completely corrupt when I led a wildcat strike and was fired.
Oh, okay.
That was not good.
But in this case, you seem to believe that the automakers have
well, I just think that
the upper hand.
This man, and I like, you know, the union.
Jim Cramer's been wrong on everything that he says. He said the 2008 financial crisis wouldn't happen. Yeah, he's a idiot. Does anyone also believe that Jim Cramer is slowly turning into Mike Ehrmantraut? I feel like from the side, he has the same profile and dead fish eyes.
Say that they're way behind, the wages aren't the same as how
his point would be that they have barely kept up. They haven't kept up with even the pace of inflation since
so you go to 25. Go to are they not? Is he not satisfied with 25% increase? I think most of America's is.
Listen to the way this guy talks. Keep in mind the auto companies are enjoying record profits right now. And the other guys like, I think the UAW workers just want their incomes to keep up with inflation. And Jim's like, keep up with inflation? What's next? $1 million an hour? $2 million? Why not? On the doctrines of Marxism, I have read all 7 schools of Marxism, and there's no difference really. If you keep up with inflation, then I might as well just give you $1 million a second. And then like that's like legitimately the level that this guy is on. Oh yeah, he is turning into Mike Ehrmantraut because his solution is also sending people to Belize.
Ford's the most unionized company in America. It is.
What about the way that they say they're going to strike, which would be not across the board.
Well,
but
Stellantis is the one that you want to go to. Oh, you mean targeted factories?
Yes, targeted factories.
So you target the F-150 because it makes a lot of money, the F-150 hybrid. You know, they can build a hybrid very easily in Monterey.
That's what I think. That's a very great and pro-American idea. I think we should have essential components for our national defense infrastructure be done by other countries. I agree completely. In a geopolitical climate where Republicans are literally threatening to invade Mexico, there is no idea that I think is better than us manufacturing. Oh, sorry. Oh my God, the F-150 is a truck, not a plane. I'm so stupid. Oh my God. Oh my God. It's early. I'm still drinking my coffee. I'm so sorry. Okay, you know what? I take it back. The Ford F-150 is a vital component of our national defense infrastructure, all right? Who do you think? How do you think they haul that equipment, huh? For the Ford F-150s. I'm kidding. Ford F-150s are terrible. The Ford F-150 is like one of the cleanest examples of how degenerate the American pickup truck has become. Serious, like the Ford F-150 used to be the workhorse of the nation, and now every single person who drives one is a rich suburbanite who has never in their life driven on a dirt road, you know? Like, when I was growing up, my mental vision of the Ford F-150 was the ones that were created around the time that I was born, because that was the ones that people were driving around. It was like, oh, well, that's a pickup truck, right? Like, that looks like a pickup truck. That makes sense to me, I guess. It's pretty big, but then, like, then the 9th generation's like, whoa, did you just add, like, half a foot to the suspension? And then you go to the 10th generation, it's like, what? Like, look at this. Look at how low to the ground this is. It's like, what? In just 2 generations, what happened? And then you have this. And then you have this, 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 and then you have the 14th generation, where, as you can see, the top bumper of the Ford F-150 is coming up to the light of these light stands. Look at this. A person standing, their head would be like here. Like, this is a monster. And the truck bed is the same size as it was all the way back here. It can't haul anymore. Like I guess there's more horsepower. If you're trying to haul, like, I don't know, a giant brick of tungsten or whatever, then I guess you might want the newer one. But apart from that, some modern pickup trucks are bigger than World War II tanks. Yep, yeah. And remember, there's an amazing video on this. Oh, I'm sorry, it's a smaller bed. It's not even a larger bed. There's a whole video on this from Not Just Bikes. But remember, the only reason this is being done is because there is a tax and like car test loophole that is provided for this kind of truck, which is allowing them, and they're trying to sell you more. Like, these cost way more. The average car price is going up. Look at this. Average new car price, $47,000. What the? When I was growing up, I'm pretty sure people would get new cars for like $20,000. What the? And that's because when you go into a lot, it's like look, yeah, in just 2 years, average car price from 2019 to 2021 jumped by $11,000. $11,000 in 2 years. And that's because, like, American car manufacturers are literally just producing, like, gigantic ultra trucks now. All right, sorry, bit of a tangent. Yeah, they're not even selling small trucks anymore.
B of A took a crack at that, what they're calling a standing strike, where you go after individual facilities. Right. Their argument is...
So let's go back to Jim Cramer talking about how auto manufacturing workers are greedy. Ram's smallest truck is not available in the U.S. They literally don't sell smaller cars in the U.S. anymore. Like, they are artificially... So, yeah, free market lovers, they are artificially increasing the cost of cars by just not selling cheaper ones in the United States because they'd rather make more money from only selling the super expensive ones. And this is what car-dependent infrastructure does to you. In a country where you need a car to get around, they know they have a captive market. It's like an inelastic demand, basically. So it doesn't matter, like, well, people who can't afford a new car won't get one. No, people who can't afford a new car will just go into debt getting a new car. You can't not have a car in most of America. So, $50,000 for a new car, whatever. And you can go used, sure. But that's like, obviously a lot of people are just going to go for a new car anyway, because it's, people just have a bias towards a new car, and sometimes there are issues with used cars and blah, blah.
It'd be very difficult and inefficient for any of the operators to coexist with that. So they see likely, if it goes that way, makes sense to shut down, lay off the workers, and restart if and when you get a deal.
Well, look, I think this man... I would not say that Sean Fain is a paper tiger had they.
You just said he was a paper tiger.
No, I said I wouldn't say if they had raised a lot of money in a strike fund. Their strike fund is 5 weeks. Well, they can pay you $500, $600 a week, and then you're out of money. People like to get paid.
Their strike fund is only for 5 weeks before the strike starts.
You can't hold out. I mean, these guys are not like
you're just
running
basing
backs.
it solely on
They're
the
not,
fact that
they're not like a running back who's going to hold out and get a big deal. There's no big deal if you.
What are you running back? What is this guy trying to inject sports? What do you mean? They're not like a running back. They won't be able to go far. What a tortured metaphor. What are you talking about?
Hold out. And you've got to put food on the table. I'm just saying that Sean Fain, when you listen to him, he sounds like he's the president of the United States. No, president of something higher than the United States. He's
look at this union rep, man. Look at how greedy he is, talking about how the company that they work for has not paid them wages that keep up with inflation, has taken away their benefits, and is making record profits. You know, well, look at this uppity worker. How dare he? Look, they haven't raised enough in strike funds. Soon they're gonna starve. Ha, paper tiger. What a fucking sociopath. I thought, man, it's genuinely incredible to me how, like, the country, like, the national dynamic, the culture, the zeitgeist has shifted to a point where people like this can just be on TV and not have, like, an avalanche of hate mail, like, flooding the network every time. Like, people just not listening to it, you know?
He's not. And he won by a very slim amount. And I have a factory in Mexico.
Trump made greed cool. No, that's the thing. Donald Trump, as bad as he is, would not agree with this rhetoric because Donald Trump explicitly ran, even though he didn't do it, on bringing manufacturing back to the United States. Donald Trump disingenuously appealed to economic populism. And again, he was lying when he did so. But to be clear, even people who like Donald Trump, even people who like that kind of guy, resonate with his messaging of keeping American jobs. Jim Cramer is so demon-like that he can't even muster that very basic, insincere, disingenuous level of economic populism. Everything is Reagan's fault? Yeah, this is a Reagan thing.
Let me tell you something. It's fantastic. All my wife does.
Great. Thank you, Jim Cramer. All right, that's the end of the clip. Nice. Yeah, I'm not saying that Trump would be, like, good for unions. He's not. I'm just saying that in terms of rhetoric, he would know not to touch on that. Car sizes over the years? Yeah, it's really bad. It's so cool how every driver pays the same, like, road tax, and how bicyclists also pay the same road tax. I wonder why nobody wants to bike in American cities. Have you seen that on Twitter right now, every once in a while, somebody will post, like, a dash cam video of a bicyclist nearly getting killed by a car, and all of the replies will be blue checks saying, I wish that car had killed that bicyclist. I hate bicyclists. It's crazy how people are by car infrastructure. Like, all these people, a lot of them who are, like, unironic fascists who want to return, you know? Just, they don't understand. It's insane. And by the way, this is literally just for, like, 4 industries. The car industry, natural gas, oil, and coal. Like, that's literally, like, that's it. The fossil fuel, the non-renewable energy sources, they have a shared interest in the car industry. And, like, congratulations, that's America. America is those 4 companies, or those 4 industries. Fantastic. And all of this is being done deliberately by these car companies. None of this is like just consumer choice. They are manipulating and taking advantage of existing laws that provide exceptions for SUVs and trucks because they're classified as like work vehicles rather than like regular commercial, like regular ordinary people vehicles. They are deliberately keeping smaller vehicles from being sold in the United States because if you have to import them, it's way more expensive, meaning that it's much more difficult to get a hold of them, meaning people are going to gravitate towards the cars that are immediately available, what they can see on the lot. Seriously, go to like any local car dealership around your house, not like a super luxury one like Mercedes or whatever. I mean like a car dealership that sells cars that people can usually afford to buy, okay? And the cars they have on display there are sickening. Like, stand next to them and ask yourself if you would feel comfortable with your child or like your future kid crossing the street in front of them. It's insane. Like, these are accurate height comparisons. The Soviet T-34 has a less dangerous bumper than the Dodge Ram 1500. Look, the edge point for the bumper on the T-34 is lower than the top of the bumper here. The higher these bumpers get, the more dangerous they are. A low bumper, like the ones that you see from these older cars, if you get hit by them, where do you go? You go over the car. Now, that still hurts, don't get me wrong, but it's a hell of a lot better than going under the car, which is what's guaranteed to happen if you're hit by a modern SUV or truck. My dad survived being hit by a car when he was a... No, he wasn't even on the motorcycle at the time. He was a pedestrian. He was hit by a car in the late 80s, and because every car back then looked like this, basically, even the trucks were pretty low to the ground. My dad just like slammed his palm against the hood of the car and flipped over it and hurt himself. Don't get me wrong, I harmed himself, yeah, but he went over it. And nowadays, like, car deaths are going up and up and up and up and up because if you can't flip over one of these. Like, you would have to be like 8 feet tall to flip over one of these. If you get hit by these, you will go under it every time. There's no way to be tall enough. You can't go over them. I visited America and I was shocked by how high your cars were. Yeah, it's insane. It's genuinely insane. How do we advocate for smaller cars? This needs to be like a legal thing. Car companies have to be held to account. It's insane what they're getting away with. Vaush, I think usually when you get hit by a car, you don't see it coming. I mean, yeah, sometimes, but even if you don't see it coming, with these lower cars, you go over the car. Like, the point of a bumper is to give a flat surface against which a pedestrian or a surface you crash into, like, you're trying to, like, leverage the momentum and the angle of the impact. If you have a car that has a bumper that cuts off right here at about the height of your waist, more or less, it's very likely that you will go over the car when you're hit, which is, again, like, the survivable, like, that is better. Yeah, seriously, Merrick. American truck in Europe. You can see what American pickup trucks look like when they're compared to any, like, literally any other country on earth. This is just an America thing. This is just America. This is not any other country. It's just America. And okay, it's just America and Canada. Canada does this too, but to a lesser extent. And maybe Mexico. I know that North America is especially bad when it comes to this stuff, but I don't think Mexico and Canada come anywhere near American-sized, like, pickup trucks. It's so bad. The car companies need to be held to account. Billions must drive sedans, or public transport, preferably. But, you know. I don't think... This is a very short woman, of course, because they're doing it for the bit. But, like, it's just people don't know. People outside of America don't understand. Yeah, there we go. Look at that. What the I live in a small neighborhood in Amsterdam, and one of my neighbors has a Ford Raptor, and I hate it. I just think they should be illegal. Literally, this is not a matter of like, oh, maybe some people need this truck. No, 0 humans need this truck. If you want a truck with a flatbed, there are earlier models that could be made today, that better versions of which could be made today, that have this truck bed and are about the size of this red car. Maybe a bit longer. Easily. We made them for decades. And now, like, more and more people are getting really big trucks because, or like really big cars because they don't want to be in a little car on the road next to all these monsters, you know? Because if you're in this car and you get hit by this car, your car is going to be turned into dust. Your car is going to be obliterated. Anyway, they should just be illegal. There just have to be size limits on cars. There is no reason to have a car this big. There's just no reason. None. No reason. Nobody needs them. So is Vaush still buying an SUV? I am, but to be fair, I'm literally buying like a subcompact crossover SUV. So yes, but I'm not buying a pickup truck. We can do a size comparison. Hypocrisy? Yeah, hold on. Okay, hold on. We're gonna do the size comparison here on the website, okay? We're gonna do the size comparison. Alright, so change car number 1. So we're getting Mazda, and then we're getting the CX-50 isn't here, so I guess I'll choose the CX-5, which is like 1 inch smaller or whatever. Okay, so that's car number 1. And then car number 2 is the Ford F-150, because that's like the gold standard of shitty, gigantic American pickup. Ford. F-150. The Model T, you can compare it to the Model T. Wait, where's the, oh, F-150, there we go. Okay, there we go. So there's the comparison, okay? Like, this is a SUV compact, and it fits inside. Like, this could be a passenger inside of the F-150. This thing could drive this thing, you know? Now compare it to a normal car. Sure. I don't want to drive a station wagon. What's a normal car? Do we want to compare it to Mazda's sedan? Here. The Mazda has a cute sedan. It's pretty cheap, too. The MX-5. There. And that's like a tiny little... Oh, sorry, a coupe, not a sedan. My apologies. That's a coupe. This is a tiny little car. What's a good sedan? A Honda Civic? Okay, yeah, Honda Civic. I haven't ridden a sedan in so long. Everyone has SUVs. Honda Civic. Yeah, Honda Civic. This is like a classic. Yeah, sedan. Modern one, sure. Oh my god. Oh, whoops. I switched the wrong one. Okay, so that's a sedan compared to a coupe. So then for the Mazda, there we go. It switched the other one. CX-5, modern one. There we go. Okay, see? Now, the CX-50 is like 1 inch taller than the 5 or whatever, but as you can see, the it's just a bit taller. You know, I wanted more storage space. Still way too big. I do a surprising amount of Home Depot shopping, okay? I do a surprising amount of like dad shopping where I go over and I'm like, I feel like I could use a torque wrench. You know, how does it compare to a Fiat or a smart car? I mean, it depends on the car, right? I don't know. That's the excuse F-150 drivers use as well. Okay, come on. So you're gonna compare me to the point of a crossover is that it uses the same body as a sedan. It's just like taller. Okay, Jesus Christ. Also, I'm gonna pull it. I'm gonna pull the big boy card. Okay, I have driven around and ridden in sedans, and I'm not that comfy in them. Sedans are not always comfy if you are a big boy. Sometimes they are, but not always. What's that? What's that luxury? What do I think of when I think of like luxury sedan? Do I think of like a Cadillac or something? BMW? Yeah, I think of BMW. That seems right. The 3 Series? Okay. Estate? Sedan? Let's go for sedan, because otherwise we're going too big. There we go. Okay, yeah. I think that with some of the luxury sedans, they're a bit longer, and they're a bit more comfy, but I've only ever sat in one once, and it was like, there was a friend of a friend whose car I sat in for a bit, but I could never afford these cars, and I also don't want them. Car lock? Oh, well, no, this isn't just a stop. I mean, I legitimately think there's like political value in demonstrating how the car market is right now. Ford discontinued the Ford Focus and the Ford Fiesta, which were both hatchbacks. Yeah, no, literally, they canceled the smaller cars here. Vaush, you can afford these cars? What? BMW 3 Series cost. Oh, you're right, I could afford them. They're only a little bit more expensive than the CX-50. I thought this was like a luxury car. What was I thinking of? I might have been thinking of a different series. Okay, well, whatever. I don't want to drive around a BMW. That's not a class signifier that I care for. Can you compare width as well? They should be the same width, because the point of the MX-5 and 50 is that they're crossovers, which means they're built on the same frame. Oh, we didn't even compare the width, man. Hold on, wait. What? Last one. Back to the Ford F-150 really quick, so we can show how wide the Ford F-150 is. Look at that. It's wider, too. 4.5 centimeters wider. I know that doesn't seem like a lot, but trust me, when you're parking on the side of the road, it is. Also, a lot of Ford F-150 drivers will get the double wheel thing. Have you guys seen the double wheel thing? People with those should legit just be arrested. What the f*** are you doing? There is no way you are hauling anything that is heavy enough that requires that level of support on the ground. The 350? Is the 350 even larger? The 350 certainly looks larger. Oh my god. Look at this. This is legal to drive. Look, it's like a baby. It's like the whole truck bed. Have you ever heard of the American pastime called going mudding? Nobody who has this car goes mudding. 0 people. Nobody. 0 people. The only people who actually, quote, go mudding are like rural people and people who will buy like a used $22,000 car that cost them $4,000. Nobody goes out there and buys a $150,000 ultra supercar and then just like nobody does. Go to any American city and look at cars that look like this. They're spotless. They're all shiny. They're spotless. They're pristine. No scratch, no dirt, no mud. They're too heavy for mudding anyway. That's true. Vaush is a Texan, absolutely wrong. Rich country boys love this shit, lol. Yeah, I'm not a Texan, sorry, I'm in Seattle. The idea that, like, people use these trucks to, like, to their purpose is ridiculous. If you want to go mudding, why not go mudding in a car that can actually handle it and not a car that weighs 16 tons? Like, you can't go mudding in this shit, you'll sink. Like, this is dangerous to go mudding in. Why would you go mudding in a car that costs what a house cost in 1993 or whatever? And it weighs like 50 trillion tons. Like, what? Like, it's ridiculous, you know? Rich assholes who go mudding use Jeeps. There will be rich assholes who do stuff like this, but I live in the city, and every single time I see a car like this, and I see them plenty, they are spotless. What are your opinion on old timers like these? These cars are gorgeous, but like, you better be the wealthiest man on earth if you want to maintain shit like this. Nobody drives cars like these. You maintain them fastidiously, and then you drive them to shows. Or Cuban? Yeah, or you have to be Cuban, yeah. They do look nice, though. They're also terrible at fuel efficiency. Well, yeah, of course. They're like 50, 60 years old. I do wish more cars looked like... I wish there were more cars that looked interesting, you know? Like, people... Every car is like the same super hyper aerodynamic blob these days. And if once the few cars that remain are all electric vehicles, it won't... Like, fuel efficiency won't matter quite as much because people will just be charging up at the end of the day. And very few people drive like 300 miles in a day. And nobody's reaching 120 miles per hour while driving around the city. So once you're no longer as concerned with aerodynamics, just make some cool looking cars, you know? Yeah. Hell yeah. And make them less dangerous to pedestrians. Though to be fair, a vehicle like this is 1,000 times less dangerous to a pedestrian than a like super mega truck, you know? Yeah, if you look up like coolest looking modern cars or whatever, it's all bullshit, man. Oh, it's like a one by like oh man, oh great. Wow. Oh wow, blobs. Oh man, just a Corvette. Yeah, yeah. Blob, 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 blob. Okay, I take that back. The Kia is not a blob. The Kia Soul's not a blob. It's a brick. Okay, that's not a blob. Seriously, Vaush, what's your issue with station wagons? I don't have an issue with station wagons. I just don't want a station wagon. I just don't want one. That's it. I don't have an issue with them. You mean like a modern station wagon? I just don't want one. Long cars. Long boys. Look at that. Wait, that was a Subaru Outback. That's the lesbian car. If you look into the specs, I think you'd surprise you. No, I just don't want one. I just don't want one. Let me live. Let me live. Why, though? Are you... Seriously? Shut up. Oh, my God. Annoying. What are you... Pet project... Station wagon executive? Going chat to chat? I want a CX-50. I think they look nice. There, CX-50. I think they look nice. Okay? I think they're responsibly sized, and I like the cargo space, and I drove one, and I think they look nice. And that's my argument. I like them. Okay? That's what I'm getting. They're rated highly. All right, we're moving on. You have car dealership owners in chat. Yeah, they have like Google alerts on for when people on streams are talking about cars. And they're like, all right, time to join in. Good thing I have this like prepared account that I've made on all like every large live streamer in the world. So I can like jump in like, hello, fellow chatters. Have you considered the station wagon? Are you aware of the fact the station wagon offers legacy quality at reasonable prices? Yeah. What's your opinion on cargo bikes? Cargo bikes are unironically like giga-based. Though this one is like bougie as $8,000. I've seen cargo bikes for a third of this price. But yeah, they like unfold into... Yeah, cargo bikes are dope. Cool as hell. Can like ride around with kids or like you can get like groceries or whatever. That's cool as hell, yeah. The future of biking is like e-bikes that have like a cargo hold on them, you know? I really feel like there should be more electric four-wheeled scooters. Like, let the bike thing be an athletics thing. And if you want to just zoom around, or like even a tricycle or whatever. So like a moped. Yeah, but it has to be like electric. It has to be like quiet, 30 miles per hour tops, you know? 3-wheeled electric moped. Is that a thing? Okay, well, I'm seeing some shit that looks very dorky, but also very cool. Okay, hold on. Really quick, chat. Really quick. This is important. All right. How do we feel about this? Hold on. E-wheels, EW11, 3-wheel scooter. EA games. How do we feel about this, lads? Now, personally, all right, I think that if everyone in America who had a Ford F-150 swapped over to this, we would be living in a better world. How cute is that? It's an electric scooter. Now, okay, in fairness, this thing can only reach 12 miles per hour, which is not very fast. But it's also less than $3,000. So this is like the cheapest end of the thing, you know? No, do not have 2 wheels at the back. Why not 2 wheels at the back? Wouldn't you want it to be able to like stand up? Not safe? Okay, whatever. I don't know. Whatever. 2 wheels are safer. Okay, all right, okay.